Thursday night and just out prospecting. I'm standing on some serious chunks of sandstone. Just, you know, nothing special about the bank here. Yeah, I'm gonna take a shovel from right in the middle of all this stuff, tip of my boot there, and we'll see what we got. So I'm down to this part of the riffles. Just grab this top edge, shake everything down and across, and in that process there's a little bit of black sand, and hey, some gold in this pan. So we'll shake it over and finish up on this side. So it looks to me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 colors. Alright, so that means time to head down river and see if this feeds into the lighter gravel that's down there. Best gold seems to be where the boat is in the very top left corner there. And then I'm coming down here. There's a lot less gold in here, but check this out. That right there, finger for scale. Yes, I know it's not a nugget, but that has got to be an Alberta picker. That is, and just compared to like, those are normal sized little specks. That's pretty cool. One pan. Get all of that. Keeps going. All the way over there. It's like 400 colors in that one pan. And it's just from the tiniest little skiff of the surface there. Hopper's working okay, but this screen is an issue. Anytime you're working with organic material, it tends to plug up. Now, plan ahead and you bring a scrub brush. Bring your scrub brush up. It opens everything up and you're good to go. But this area, right down on the river's edge, it's sort of an area that builds up every year. So there's a new skiff of mud that comes on top. It's not like an erosion zone or anything. But this crap in here, the roots of it, even if we're just skimming like the top ½ inch of the surface at this spot, and there's just a lot of this. So every scoop is a scrub. So I absolutely loved the screen for gravel and rocks. But in the case of dealing with this stuff, I think a screen is still nice because what it feeds the box is really good, but you could definitely use more of it. Like if I could extend the screen up another 2 inches, just a little extra would be really nice. So the old thumb wrench there, whose fault is this, Chris?
Well, the question is, what kind of self-respecting gold miner doesn't carry a 10 mil and a ratchet?
That would be this self-respecting gold miner. I'm in the future going to bring a 10 mil and a ratchet. But yeah, we'll see if this thing's mechanic Chris here can solve our issue. Because that is definitely the appropriately sized tool for the job.
Yeah.
That tool and the file is for if I get something jammed up in the outboard.
Oh.
I read something about like you can pull this nut off the bottom and pull the impeller, and I don't know.
Right.
I forget exactly what it was, but I have the tools for it. Maybe not for this.
Yeah, this is like barely working.
Yeah.
But it's working.
Late night session. Doesn't look super loaded or anything, but it always does kind of look neat. There's a little patch, I don't know if you'll see it, a little patch right here that's a little less full than everything else, and that's where this little lever here, some water jumps off that and dribbles down and hits the box. So I'll have to make this like an inch taller on the next model. It sure looks nice though. Oh, that was really mucky. There's a whole ton of organic material. So we were scrubbing this screen like absolutely crazy and then smashing it with the shovel, just beating the crap out of this. So that's just kind of flapping around like this. So it still protects the moss over that rough top conveyor belt underneath. But maybe I'll have to bolt it down here and down at this end. It'll be an extra bolt to deal with, but then it'll just sort of hold that still. Goldfingers was just like really full of muck. There was one of these things was just sort of hanging out down here, so instead of throwing it into the river, I'm gonna save that for the clean out. But there's a little bit of gold in here. Okay, but yeah, that was the run of organics, just to test it all out. I'll do this clean out separately. I'm gonna combine everything into just one bucket because I'm running out of buckets. But this, well, we'll go home and have a look at this clean out. It was probably, I don't know, hour and a half run. Yeah, hour and a half run. Engine died halfway through, had to do some repairs, and then it was just a really good to experience what this screen is like the total screen area. It's a little jammed up in there right now, actually, but the total screen area is just not like, it's just not enough screen. Like, this top part of the screen is flat enough for stuff to go through, and then here where it curves down, it doesn't really let the water go through as easily. So we dropped the angle of the screen a bit, like just the entire hopper a little bit for this. That helped, but we were still like every second shovel. You got to bring a scrub brush to clean your screen if you're dealing with organics. I've heard that trommels can have the same idea. You got to scrub out their screen sometimes, but they're better for clay, obviously. I think maybe just more screen area, or me and Chris are talking about some kind of creative ideas to do a multi-stage grizzly, where, you know, the advantages of a screen is that it's small material only that goes through. My big long grizzly has too much flex, so you end up with bigger rocks. But if you just have a grizzly that's like 4 inches long and nice and stiff like a comb or something, then you can have 1, 2, 3 of them and maybe get the benefits of both. Yeah, let's head home and do some clean out. And that bright star top dead center of this shot is in fact Venus. Check that with my Stellarium app on the phone. It really is bright. You can't see any other stars yet. All right, there's your roughly 260 gallons per, I don't know, probably minute. That sounds bright. There we go. And then did we fire up the additional water? This was the evening of day 4 on that trip. There's only 7.3 kilograms in this cleanup. The last cleanups were about 9.3 each. And this was just a little skiff on the surface. Had to deal with a bunch of organics. It looked like good gold, but it was also like just the very, very surface layer. So 1 tank of gas, run this through, and we'll see what it looks like. I'll show you guys the first shovel. Don't want to overdo it and spill it everywhere. All right. Anyways, first shovel. Okay, so for the first scoop, definitely has some gold in it. We've got that much to go. You can actually see stuff spinning around in there, like rotating. I didn't think they actually rotated. Cool. And this is looking rich. Just emptied out the top 3-inch wide one into this tub. And a closer look at the second level is showing still a fair bit of gold. Maybe I need to lower that water flow a little bit. Putting this into the yogurt container, and just literally the bottom of the tub is absolutely loaded with gold everywhere. First spoon. All right, we're getting good flow down the table. And now that was a big spoon, but does this look like twice as good as the last one? It was a bigger spoon.
It was a bigger spoon.
But either way, that's good.
Yeah, I like it.
How much do you have in there?
Probably only...
There's less.
There's a lot less in this.
Okay,
for sure.
okay, so that... when we were playing with the cleanup sluice, we were doing different speeds and stuff, so this probably cleaned out a little bit better, so it's more concentrated.
Yeah,
Because that's already like loaded with gold. That's insane. A little fan brush just to, once it sort of sits there for a while and hasn't moved, you can kind of brush things across like that. Inside this, I've just got a very powerful magnet. If you haven't seen this yet, the magnet will take the magnetics and just lift them up into the flow a little bit. So it's a bit of a magic trick. You can see they kind of just get lifted up into the water like that. That's how I wound up with this line down here. What's interesting is all those black sands acted as a sluice box to hold all of these non-magnetic black sands. Okay, so you've got just gold in the bottom of the jar.
Yeah.
About to go into
Very, very fine.
a very golden shaker. Not a shaker table. People have been mentioning get a shaker table. And for the very small quantities that I'm getting out of that VDR sluice box, like it takes 20 minutes to do one VDR clean out. And so ideally, like I'm doing 5 clean outs because I want to know what came out of each spot. But ideally, if you came home, you would do this once, and in 20 minutes you would have your gold. Maybe half an hour. So this Miller table is really all I think I'm going to need for the entire summer. It's very effective. Basically, if the water isn't deep enough, when you pile all the gold up, it can break the surface, which can result in some floaty gold, and I don't want that. There, I got a good depth now. So I'm just going to basically brush this all together. Oh, yeah, this is rich ground. Again, this was actually just under a tank of gas. We ran out of ground to dig at this location before we ran out of fuel. I can't believe in under 2 hours, and it was 2 of us digging, but man, that's serious. And up it all goes. Well, that's actually like, it's actually a lot. A little bit in the tube still. And we'll have to brush this all together to get the rest of it. But look at the very bottom of that snuffer. Not bad. Finger over the end, shake everything down, make sure it's all out of that end there. And I'm just going to pull the tube out, and at this point, flip her upside down, spin her around. Everything's down at the very bottom there, and here I just open my thumb the tiniest little bit and make sure everything's down. Clean my thumb off like that. This is some kind of like, I got this at Industrial Plastics and Paints for something, and then I had to buy the tube separately, but that just makes this so much easier. And then we pour our water off. That is a very three-dimensional stack of gold.
That's very nice.
And so I will set this. Just let that dry out on the bench here. Here's a spoiler alert from day 5, 1 tank of gas run. And I will label this as our day 4 evening. Day 4 in the evening, we found an area with some organics in it to test out the screen. Skimmed just the very, very surface of that, and actually didn't even run a full tank of gas there, so a little under 2 hours. 2.84 grams came from day 4.